distinction needs to be made between DLC and an expansion for a game. Downloadable content pertains to anything that can be separately purchased from the main game that is associated with that particular game. This can range from cosmetic items, such as new character costumes, looks and appearances, to new weapon colour schemes or new weapon types, through to more controversial ideas such as experience point and currency boosters, to loot boxes containing random items. Although an expansion for a game is considered DLC, it is markedly different in that it expands the experience of the original game in a significant way, often including new areas of exploration, new gameplay changing items and mechanics, as well as new storylines and characters. The perpetually nuclear mist covered island of Far Harbour provides an inspired backdrop to an expansion that perfectly complements the post-apocalyptic horrific atmosphere of the Fallout 4 universe. Perhaps inspired by John Carpenter's film The Fog, Far Harbour is full of new areas to explore, new weapon types, items to loot, and both new creatures and enemy types to challenge even higher level player characters. What from the onset appears to be a search and rescue mission originating at Valentine's detective agency in the Commonwealth soon reveals itself to be more involved, allowing the player to take the new story in different directions dependent on their own decisions regarding certain issues that arise. However, as with the main game, the story and side missions that can be discovered are largely independent from exploration. The player still has the freedom to do what they want, when they want, whether to consistently follow the main story or ignore all missions and just explore. Far Harbour is often murky and gloomy, leading to some impressive lighting effects as light breaks through both the fog and silhouetted landscapes. Occasionally the weather does brighten up and the change is quite dramatic, but players will most probably be using their Pip-Boy torch far more often than they did in the main game. Taking into consideration that this is an expansion, there is still a sizable amount of varied new locations to discover off the beaten path, and wandering off the beaten path can be extremely dangerous, as some of the new enemy types are extremely tough and nasty. Amusingly, a new theme that runs throughout the island is the idea of Nuka-Cola's arch-rival Vim. Players can collect and drink different types of Vim and even find power suits that are decorated in Vim's art styles. Perhaps a little disappointingly though, Far Harbour only provides 5 new collectible almanacs. There are no other magazines or new vault statues to collect. Another possible grievance is that because the island is separate from the Commonwealth, players will have to endure more loading screens as they traverse back and forth between the two. As was stated in the review of Fallout 4, settlement building isn't for everyone, but for those who revel in it, they will be delighted to know that there are several new areas to develop, each providing some interesting challenges in how to actually approach creating the settlement in the spacious areas provided. Yet, perhaps the real highlight of Far Harbour is the incredible original score by Inon Zur, which not only elevates the expansion into a separate and unique experience, but is arguably better than the soundtrack to the main game. It could easily be used as a soundtrack to a deeply horrific, thriller-based film. Far Harbour is an impressive expansion that provides the player with a separate and new atmospheric experience which remains true to the main game.